to science or discovery and knowledge. Throughout all of history, someone's made a random discovery that shattered the current paradigm. Right? That's what happens. So every time the mob role ridicules those who point out that there may be alternative or the evidence doesn't match it. Until that happens, everyone switches overnight, right?
So, let me ask you, how do you explain gravity?
Gravity goes right back to the Planck particle, I think. Now, there's a lot of theories out there about gravity. But if this book is 99% Planck particle and, whatever paper's made of.
But you just mean ether.
You could say ether. I mean,
do you think it is Planck particle?
I think, yeah. It has to be the smallest possible material substance that nature allows. Because if it's not the smallest, then you're going to have something there between the particles that can't be nothing, has to be something. So now you're going to have to go back to the smallest possible particle and the smallest possible distance. This is all already known in quantum mechanics, okay? So if everything is filled with Planck particles, then if you have matter made up of, protons, neutrons, electrons, and that can exist in a Planck particle medium, then it's going to create a vacuum. Okay? You need me to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we'll explain. Are you saying we're being pulled down by vacuum forces, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a vacuum force because you have matter impeding on the Planck particle, and now the Planck particle isn't at its optimal density. If it's not at an optimal density, and nature abhors a vacuum, then it's going to try to compensate for that lack of optimal density and start pulling. Whatever's out there, it's going to start pulling.
So do you think that there is a firmament and there's no space then?
Now this is another issue about the firmament that we need to know, which is a lot of the theories are based on the fact that the firmament is a solid thing. That's why you have the picture of the dome. That's what you get in Genesis chapter 1, verses 6 to 9, that it's a solid thing.
Yeah, it looks like a glass barrier, right?
Yeah,
figuratively.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it could be gold. Who knows? It's solid.
Radiation.
Well, that's not solid.
No, you're saying the presumption is that it's solid.
No, because that's what the Hebrew word means.
Really?
I mean, that's why you get that's why you get the word firmament. It's firm.
Yeah, okay? In Greek it's stereoma, which means solid.
Yeah, but there's another facet to this Hebrew word, rakia, and you get that in the second part of Genesis 1 when it starts talking about the celestial bodies. It says God made the sun, the moon, and the stars and put them in the firmament. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, how can that be if it's solid?
They're wrong.
No, you got two meanings for the firmament. You got one that's solid, and you got one that's ethereal. And that's where the celestial bodies can fit in. And if you follow the meaning of firmament, the rakia or raka, it's another derivative of it, throughout the Old Testament, you see those two meanings.
So let me try and get the gravity explanation then.
Well, gravity's fake, and this is how we know, because it's all buoyancy and density, because this I can prove. Why does a balloon float, Tim?
Archimedes' law of displacement?
Which was discovered long before gravity, right? I mean,
oh, yeah.
But we put the little g in there now. So because gravity comes from gravitas, which means heavy. So it just means that objects are heavy. They have a weight. As to what causes objects to have weight, that's the real question, right?
So, right. So the issue then would be, I'm trying to understand, and maybe I'm getting it wrong. The Earth is massive, and with Planck particles occupying 99% of space, there is a massive vacuum that is the Earth pulling everything towards it.
Well,
to balance.
The Earth also has Planck particles in it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So the Earth is effectively this gigantic structure with massive vacuum force pulling everything around it to it.
That's right. That's right. And
what's the conventional gravity theory of gravity?
So, and to be clear, I'm not a physicist. I'm just an amateur astronomer who enjoys looking at the stars.
Are you a doctor?
I'm a doctor of neuroscience.
And we'll say doctor, but keep that part quiet.
You're a doctor.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about theoretical physics and about what causes mass to have gravity. That's outside of my wheelhouse, to be honest. But
Well, it's the theory of relativity. It says that gravity is the bending and warping of space. It's the effect of the bending and warping of space-time, and that it displaces the space-time, causes a gravity well, and basically objects fall inside this well. Back in the day, it was Newtonian, which is that matter inherently has some property that pulls things to it. And actually, Newton said that he couldn't understand it. It must be God doing it. And most people won't talk about that. He just straight up said God must be doing it. He threw his hands up. He said there had to be an ether if it existed, because there had to be mutual contact between the bodies and stuff like that. But this is interesting, because people will say, like, hey, stupid flat earther, what's gravity, right? But the mainstream model doesn't have a viable model for gravity.
Right,
it's not even remotely close.
Is the flat Earth? I've read this, and it may not be the actual one, but what I've read was that the Earth is moving upwards.
No, total straw man, total straw, insane straw.
but Austin, you don't believe in relativity, right? I mean, you don't believe that the sun is 93 million miles away. You don't believe that
You're conflating things. So I believe in the principle of relativity. I don't believe in the theory of relativity. It's ridiculous.
What's the difference? What do you mean?
Yeah,
by
what's-
it?
Meaning that things are relative. Like I can be moving in a car and it looks like the tree's moving. Obviously, that principle's real long before Einstein was even a thing. But the theory of relativity is
Matter of fact, Bellarmine used that against Galileo, the theory of principle of relativity.
principle, exactly. So but gravity doesn't work at all in the mainstream model. It's such a misnomer. In 1933. Fritz Zwicky looked at a coma cluster, so it's like a cluster of galaxies all together. And to keep the galaxies together, there had to be a certain amount of gravitational force, right? So gravitational field had to be certain strength, and it only had 1% of the mass needed based on the gravitational prediction. Gravity was off by 99%. To this day, it's off. Dark matter is what they called it. At first, they called it missing mass. Then they just plugged in the value to fix it, and now it's called dark matter, completely undefined. It's just invisible, effectively, is what dark.
Yeah, it's like we can't detect what it is. We don't know what it is, but it clearly has some kind of gravitational effect on.
Yeah.
we can see gravitational lensing in galactic clusters. We can see that, we
What does that have
expect
to
that
do with dark matter, though?
because galactic clusters have a lot of dark matter, and so if you look
What
at
is dark matter?
if you look at galactic clusters, they seem to be lensing light, and if you tally up the mass that you expect to see in those galaxies based on the amount of light that you're getting from the galaxies, it doesn't add up. It doesn't seem.
Well, it doesn't add up according to what?
So Wikipedia, our best friend, says dark matter is a hypothetical form of matter that does not interact with light or other electromagnetic radiation. It is dark matter is implied by gravitational effects, which cannot be explained by general relativity unless more matter is present than can be observed. Now that's fascinating, because that sounds to me, and I hate to say it, but it sounds like they have this theory and they go, okay, well, the theory can't explain this thing, so something must be there then, I guess.
Exactly. It's almost religious. So obviously,
But I'm not saying it's wrong. It's like Sudoku, right? We figure this is what's there is thing here. We look at the numbers and we say 2, 5, or 6 must be in this space. So my point is simply, I think it. Obviously, the point of dark matter is that we don't know, and based on what we think about general relativity, we are plugging something in we've not yet discovered.
and it's been over a century almost.
Further, it goes back further than that. What they're saying is that F equals ma, which was Newton's formula, okay? Einstein's formula is G equals 8 pi tau, which is almost identical to F equals ma.
So what does F equal ma mean?
Force equals mass times acceleration. So m is the mass. So if you get these galaxies are rotating 10 times faster than F equals ma will allow, what you have to do is increase the m of the equation. The m is the dark matter.
So you said you were a physicist?
I was a physics major.
Physics major.
Yeah, but I don't have a degree in physics.
I had a conversation with a professor once where this was 20 years ago. We were talking about string theory. I was reading a book on string theory and dimensions, and he said something like, yeah, well, now it's M theory, and there's another dimension they just added. And he was like, the issue is that it seems sometimes like a lot of these guys have dedicated their whole lives to the research of this unified theory where they're trying to figure out what's going on, and to learn that 30, 40 years of research may have been in the complete wrong direction would be emotionally shattering to these people. Yeah. Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.